I suspect that everything in my field of experience is everything there is the only thing there is. But maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not true. How would I know if that is true or not? How do I know if the cat is in the box if I can't see the cat? How do I know that all my friends and family exist in this moment now, other than some thought I have that's arising in this field of experience? How do I know that they exist independent from a thought in this field of experience? I can't know. How can I know? Is there a way to know? It doesn't seem like it. And so I'm stuck with this predicament where I'm stuck with this problem of not knowing whether something exists outside of this direct experience that I call my life. See, I don't know. There's no evidence that says, there's no evidence that I can find to suggest that I am the only thing that exists, and this experience that I call my life is the only thing that exists, and it's all that there is. But likewise, there's no evidence that I can find that suggests that there is anything or anyone outside this direct experience that I call my life. I don't know. I just don't know. Because as a matter of direct experience, I only know direct experience. There's nothing else that I know. Anything else that I think I know that exists outside of this is just a thought which exists in this direct experience. How do I know it's true? So, either way, whether I whether this experience that I call my life is the only thing that there is, or whether that this experience is just one of many experiences. Whichever one is true, the fact of the matter remains that I'm only ever going to be aware of my experience, whether it's the only one or one of many. The fact still remains that this is all I will ever know, and this is all that there is for me. This is all that there is. So, in a sense, it doesn't really take away from anything. Like, if I am just a little separate thing, or if I'm God, the fact still remains that I can't actually know any kind of separation. And so the only way to live is to live as if I am God, as if I'm everything, as if I'm existence itself. Sometimes it seems like I'm God and I'm choosing to play this game called being a human. Sometimes it feels like that. Other times it feels like I'm poor little old me, separate from everything, separate from other people in the world. And, which is true? And how do I know? And how will I ever know? I mean, it definitely seems like, when I look around me, it definitely seems like this animating force within me is in everything else. And, it seems like what's animating the clouds in the sky and what's animating the leaves on the trees, what's animating the people walking by and the birds flying in the air. What's animating everything? It seems like, it seems like God is everywhere, and God is playing the part of everything simultaneously. So right now, God is playing the part of this human being that I call me. But it's also playing all those other human beings over there, and it's also playing this tree and that tree and the clouds and the mountains and the grass and everything, and it's all playing together. It's God playing with itself. But again, that's one perception that I can have, and who am I? That's one perception that I have, and who's I? And the other thing is that why am I me and not somebody else? It seems that like, why am I aware of this particular body with these particular thoughts, with this particular life in this particular location and time? Why am I aware of all that rather than aware of some fucking gecko 5 centuries ago in the Amazon rainforest? Why am I aware of this particular body? Why does it seem like awareness is strapped to this body and this mind, and not strapped to some other body and mind that I'm looking over there? You know, I assume that when I look over there, when I look at somebody, I assume that they're having an experience just like I'm having an experience. But again, like, there's no evidence for that. Like, I can't find any evidence to suggest that there is anybody else having a conscious experience like I'm having right now. But like I said, how do I even know? Like, how will I ever know? Can I ever know? I don't think so. The question, why am I me and not somebody else? The only answer that I can come up with is that there is nobody else. But again, like, I can't know anything. Like, I don't, like, the universe and existence is infinitely more intelligent than this human mind, and so I just don't think that I can ever understand this. Any conclusion that I come up with, like, oh, so I am existence itself and nobody and nothing else exists other than me. That's just a conclusion that, you know, it seems like I'm just using that because, you know, I'm coming up against some obstacle that I can't get over, and it seems like I'm reaching the edge of my mind. It seems like I'm reaching the edge of intellect where you just can't, you know, it seems like there comes a point where you just can't actually question any further, where the human mind only reaches a certain limit, and you just have to step off into the unknown and uncertainty and realize that, you know, I just can't know, and just, I don't know. But it's interesting because, like, I mean, I never, like, at what point does self-consciousness arise? Like, Another story that I have, another theory or whatever about all this is that it's reincarnation. So there is only one thing, and it's me. There is only God, and God's hopping from one body to the next. So before this body, before this life, perhaps I was somebody else, which didn't have a lot of self-consciousness. And then in this life, now I'm starting to become conscious of conscious itself, or rather, consciousness is becoming conscious of itself. And recognizing that it is the only thing that exists. Again, I don't know what I'm saying. It's hard to explain these things. And then again, it's just like, who am I explaining it to? I'm just trying to make sense of all this by myself, because it still remains that I only know myself, and I'm only ever going to know myself. I don't know what happens after death, but it seems like this body, and this body is aging, it's growing, it's changing. And I look around me, other bodies are growing and changing and dying, and it seems like, well, this is inevitable. This body is going to die. It's going to get weak, and it's going to get ill, and it's going to perish away. And then what? Then what happens to me? What happens to I? What happens to the awareness of, or the consciousness of anything? What happens to that? Yeah, just some thoughts.